are large wetlands in some areas of America, which are also called marshlands. Similarly, the wetland of U.S.A. is spread over 5,600 kilometers. It is the largest swamp of North America. That is a marshy land which has bayous, marshlands, and cypress forest, and around 20 to 30 lakh alligators are found here. Just a few days ago, a film called The Gator Creek was released. In the story of that film, a plane crashes. In this area, how the survivors save themselves from thousands of bloodthirsty alligators. You will know this in this story. If you are new to the channel, then definitely subscribe. The story of the film begins from a forest in U.S.A. It is a marshy land and is spread far and wide. No one comes or goes here. So some criminals who make drugs were engaged in making illegal substances here, and drugs were being made in large quantities. Suddenly they were attacked. These people do not surrender easily. Bullets were fired, due to which people from both sides were killed. In the end, a man pours the narcotic liquid into the river, which gets mixed with the water here. The police do their work and leave from here, but they had no idea how dangerous the chemical that was spilled in the water could be, because there are thousands of alligators in this area, and when they consumed this liquid, their behavior started changing. They became one, their body size started increasing, and they kept attacking all the time. Now, what do they have to do with this story? We will understand later. Now, we meet a girl named Kyle who was attending college class. Kyle was very good. In biology, she had studied all kinds of animals, but today she was not taking the class carefully. Her professor was giving a lecture on predators and their natural habitat, in which a formidable alligator is also mentioned. The class professor also asks Kyle a question, and he is able to give a correct answer without any hesitation. After the class, Kyle meets Alice, who is an old friend of hers. Both of them had not met for a long time. Now they are going to go somewhere together. Recently, Kyle's brother died, due to which Kyle started feeling very sad, and this trip was planned by the brothers so that Kyle could visit such a beautiful place with his brother. But Kyle did not like the fact that not only he and Alice were going on the trip, but there were two more of their friends, Malika and Sam, both of whom were in a relationship. Kyle did not get along with Malika because she was a very irritable and selfish girl. Alice apologizes to Kyle for this, but her financial condition was not good. She had to sell her car, and her mother was not going to give more money. Reluctantly, Kyle agrees to go with them on this trip. On the way, Alice and Kyle talk. Alice explains to her that now she should move on. Whatever happened was bad, but Kyle cannot blame himself for this. Well, we will know later how Kyle's brother actually died, but Kyle was not going to give up so easily. They spend the night in a motel, where Kyle did not look happy like everyone else. She started watching old videos of her brother on the phone, who was very fond of bikes. After spending time in the motel, Malika wakes everyone up in the morning because now the next phase of the trip was to begin. Everyone stops at a gas station where Kyle sees the newspaper lying there. The front page itself gives news of alligator attacks. Then he sees a man there who talks to Kyle. He is warning him not to go into the water as it is dangerous. That man was a little strange. He tells that there is a big alligator in the jungle, which people call Christina. There is a scar on this alligator and no one can escape from it. Although Kyle did not believe his words, but he was worried inside. This time they reach the airport. Malika surprises them by telling them that she has booked a tour. She wanted them to see the whole area from the sky, but Malika's friends do not like this idea because Kyle was scared of flying and Malika knew this. But as we told you, she was not a good girl, so she had deliberately planned this trip only for her own sake. She met her pilot whose name was Frank. In the very first meeting, when these people asked him about this trip, Malika said that she had booked a tour. She wanted them to see the whole area from the sky. But Malika's friends did not like this idea because Kyle was scared of flying and Malika knew this. But as we told you, she was not a good girl, so she had deliberately planned this trip only for her own sake. She met her pilot whose name was Frank. When they met, it was known that they do Kerala videos, but Cahill felt that because of her, the trip of these people will get spoiled. So she was ready to sit in the plane. Everyone else also agreed. Apart from them, some other people were also going to go in this plane. Their destination was Florida. There were two couples in the passengers. One was a businessman and Frank had a co-pilot. Frank welcomes everyone, and after this, the plane took off. The businessman, whose name was Rupes, was talking on his phone during the flight. Everyone else asks him to turn off the phone, but he was not listening to anyone. Suddenly, turbulence started. Soon the engines of the plane fail. Everyone started shouting. The pilot gives the control. The plane started falling straight down and then crashed into a pond. When Cahill's eyes opened, the survivors of the plane crash were coming out of the water. An elderly woman was on the 20th flight. Her husband disappeared somewhere in the plane crash, and Frank's co-pilot was also missing. He tries to find him, but he does not find him. Now among the survivors are Rupa's couple, Dom and Joey. A woman named Rosen was there, and the rest of them whom we have seen before were injured. Soon Kyle and everyone else found out that it was actually an illegal flight. There was no black box, so no one would come to help them, and they had crashed in America's largest wetland where there are swamps, ponds, and forests. All this is spread for miles, and the biggest danger here was that it was actually the home of alligators. Frank explains to everyone that we have to go to the northeast. Before people get angry, they see the body of the co-pilot in the pond, but as soon as Frank goes into the water to get him, a big alligator is called the co-pilot. Everyone gets very scared after seeing this. Kyle tells everyone that we have to leave from here immediately. According to Frank, after walking 3,040 miles, they will find an aviation point. These people start preparing to leave this place. The Bells heard some sound. She went to the forest and found alligator eggs under a tree. She had heard somewhere that alligator eggs are very expensive. She needed money anyway. So he put all the eggs except one in his bag, but he did not tell this to anyone. In the evening, they were very tired, so they lit a fire at one place and rested. Kay knew the most about these animals, so most of the people were following her. However, Malika was jealous of her and asked why should we make her the leader. That night, when Rupas was searching for his phone, an alligator attacked him, and the next morning, everyone else found his dead body. These people were surprised because alligators do not hunt like this, but something was wrong. But if this continues, then they will not leave them all. Frank says that we had heard some rumors that some changes are taking place in alligators. Everyone else started worrying. After the death of Rupas, fear was visible on everyone's faces. Kyle, who was paying attention to the situation from the beginning, understands that alligators are now actively hunting humans. She explains to everyone that staying here is not free from danger. Then a cab was seen at some distance. These people started going towards it, but Kyle asks everyone to stop because alligators were hiding in the cold. Rogan was given a warning by Kayla to not move. She was trying to convince everyone that if we move forward together, then the alligators will not attack us because they are afraid of something bigger than themselves. No sooner had she said this than an alligator takes Rogan away. Actually, Kayla's guess was correct, but these alligators have now taken cheap drugs and all their rules have changed. Seeing this, everyone started running towards the cabin. They screamed and somehow entered the cabin. Joey also got injured. The alligator injured his leg. For some time, these people stayed in that cabin because they were safe inside, and it was about to be night. At night, Kayla had a dream from which we come to know how his brother died. Both of them were in a store when thieves came to rob the store. Kayla's brother had a passion to become a hero, and he was killed in that. The next morning, Sam shows Kyle a map. It had the location of a house. They decide to go to that place, but they have to face difficulties in reaching that place. They had to cross a big river to rescue them. Now they had two options: wait for the rescue, which will never come, or cross the river and reach the marked location where they might find someone, or, at least before sending the message for help, Malika misbehaves with Kyle, saying that we are here because of him, because he had to leave him somewhere with his brother. Anyway, Kyle ignores her words and explains to the rest of the people about alligators and how they can save their lives. Joey was injured, and that is why they were getting late, because of him. When they reach the riverbank, Kyle gives the idea of making a raft. These people collect wood around and make a raft. Now, as soon as they get into the water, the alligators see them and start chasing them. Then Joey looks at her husband for the last time and jumps into the water because she was badly injured, and maybe everyone will be saved by her sacrifice. This was a stupid sacrifice, but characters have to do something. Alligators do not attack Joey and chase everyone else. Husband Dom cries a lot. When they were on the raft, they found out that Alice had stolen the eggs of alligators, for which everyone scolded her a lot. Cal tells Alice that you do and understand that these alligators are protecting their territory, and if they come to know that their eggs have been stolen, they will not leave us alive. The raft somehow reaches the other side. Before the night, everyone finally reaches the marked building, but this place also did not seem very safe. In fact, this is the same place that was shown in the beginning of the film. This whole mess started from this place. When these people went inside, there was blood on the walls. Frank tells everyone that this place was used to make drugs. We have to be careful. Well, now, these people search this place. Maybe they find a radio so that they can contact someone. They separate so that they can find something quickly. Malika was with Frank. Upon reaching the stairs, he stops her way and tells her that I know people like you. You can go to any extent for your selfishness. He had been a soldier. Maybe some war memory had haunted him. Suddenly something happens to him and he tries to throw Malika down. Malika was apologizing to him, but then an alligator comes from above and ends the prank. On the other side, Kyle and his friends saw an injured man who was very scared. Then Kyle heard Malika's screams, so he quickly went to save him because she was hanging from the railing. As soon as these people moved forward, there were many alligators in front of them who were sleeping. These people try to pass secretly, but the alligators wake up and attack them. These people were running to save their lives. They are killed. They reach a hallway where the biggest alligator comes in front of them. Alice takes out an egg from her bag and goes in front of it. She thinks that these alligators are behind her, but Alice cuts off her hand. Kyle finds Ghastly there, and he yells at the alligator and sets the whole place on fire. There is an explosion. These people leave that place. They reach a bridge. Actually, when they reach there. They were in the building, they had found a radio, and they had sent a message for help. So now, a helicopter had reached there to rescue them. These people were happy that they survived. Then the story of a few days later is shown where Kale drowns her brother's body in a beautiful place. And with this, friends, this film ends. We hope you liked this story, so do not forget to definitely give your opinion. And if you are new on the channel, then subscribe.